Hello, and welcome back to the Art Culture Podcast featuring me, your host, Austin Perry, and my co host, Carlos Campbell. Thank you so much for joining us today, Carlos. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing jam packed episode today here on the Art Culture Podcast, episode 2 on this June 14th, 2022 edition of the Art Culture Podcast, where we discuss and analyze and examine how life imitates art. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am an artist as well as Carlos is an artist. That's why we like to nerd out and talk about art here on the Art Culture Podcast. I am an illustrator and a painter. I've been doing artwork semi-professionally for the last 3 years, going on 4 years. You can check out all of my artwork on my Instagram page, which is the main place to see where my portfolio is uploaded. And you can check out my Instagram page, which is Austin Perry Art. That's AustinParryArt. And you can check out my website where I have a lot of original artworks for sale, which is austinperry.org. That's AustinParry.org. I have a lot of different acrylic paintings, ink illustrations, framed original artworks, different prints for sale. If you're looking for some form of decoration, if you just bought a new house, if you just moved into a new condo, check it out for sure, austinperry.org. Carlos is also an artist. Carlos, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your past as an artist and where they can connect and follow you on social media?
I've been doing art my whole life. Did media arts and animation in college a long time ago because I'm old. But now I'm about to get back into art. I've been like on a over 10-year hiatus minus the graphic design on online, but I'm really good at sketching, Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and all that stuff. But you can find me on Instagram at Mechfrza, Mechfrza. And I have my link is in the bio to my t-shirt website, owlspirits.com.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. So like I said, me and Carlos are both artists. We're both two-dimensional visual artists. We're both illustrators and painters and also graphic designers. We do a lot of different types of visual artwork. And so we love to talk about artwork here on the Art Culture Podcast. I myself do a lot of different types of pop culture character artworks like fan art, different characters from movies and TV shows and video games and stuff like that. So definitely check us out, give us a follow, and let's go ahead and get into the topics that we're going to discuss here on episode 2 of the Art Culture Podcast. So category number 1 that we're going to talk about here today, Carlos, what artworks do you plan on starting soon?
So now I'm gonna do one. Well, I got to sketch it, but I want to do a lot of comic book character clashing arts, and I love those artworks where you have, like, let's say Wolverine and Batman team up, and those different characters team up together, and I like matching the colors too or whatever. So I still haven't started off with a sketch, but I want to do a collaboration with the Yellow Ranger from Power Rangers and Sabretooth from X-Men, because she's represents the saber-tooth tiger and he's Sabretooth or whatever. So I want a bold picture of them, like an action picture of them collaborating together and sprinting side by side. And with the Yellow Ranger, I want her to have kind of like a ninja run, like Naruto run, and then have her little side blade or whatever on the side. So she'll be like at what angle would be? Kind of like this or whatever. Can't get my arm out like that with the side like that, ready to slice somebody up. And then Sabretooth, you already know he gonna come in like this, like or whatever. So so the artwork will have like a yellow background, and then of course there'll be yellow, and then Sabretooth's because the Yellow Ranger has like a bright yellow, but I'll probably tone the yellow down just a little to kind of match with Sabretooth outfit, because Sabretooth outfit is a brown and a mustard yellow color. So I'm gonna brighten that mustard yellow just a little brighter, just to match with the Yellow Ranger. And it'll have different variations. So the first one will have the 90s original Sabretooth outfit. And then she'll have the original Power Rangers outfit with the helmet. And then I'll have another one where it'll be like my interpretation of their outfit. So she'll have no helmet and she'll show her hair like flowing. And then Sabretooth, I have him a more updated clothing where he doesn't have the fur all on the back. It'll be just like updated like tactical tights or even armor and stuff. And I'll probably have like 3 or 4 different variations, of course, a black and white version, or one where it's just all gray and it pops out the yellow, and vice versa. So that's the one I'm gonna work on now. So right now I'm trying to work on the anatomy of the women I'm gonna draw. So usually at artwork you'll see when, especially in comic art, when they draw the women, they're gonna have like C cup or D cup breast or whatever to show that they're women. So I'm gonna challenge myself. So when I draw women, because I'm still working on my art style, I'm gonna challenge myself to draw women with A or B cups to where you could tell they're women, but there's other aspects of the women body that makes them feminine also. And even with like artwork they show them with the thick thighs, the hourglass figure, I'm gonna have it more subtle to where it's a more slim girl, but it'll still be kind of fit, but it won't be too voluptuous. So that's gonna be a challenge for me. And then with the anatomy of Sabretooth, that's gonna be a challenge for me because I'm good with the shoulders and the arms and stuff like that, but the detail with the back muscles or whatever, that's going to be challenging for me because it's not going to be very detailed, but I got to get the anatomical features correct. And even with the thigh muscles, the quadriceps or whatever, and then just putting them in action so they'll look natural versus having them all stiff. So it's going to be very challenging for me, and I can't wait to start off with that. And I'm gonna do the next one I'm gonna do is Deadpool and Blade collaborating together, but I don't know what type of pose they'll have because in my head I have them just standing side by side, but that doesn't give it life. But with Blade, he's gonna have his regular tactical gear or whatever, and then with Deadpool, he's gonna have like every stereotypical vampire thing from all the movies. He's gonna have a flashlight. He's gonna have a water gun with holy water on it, like from Dusk Till Dawn. He's gonna have a garlic necklace. There's gonna be a lot of funny stuff. He's gonna have flashbang grenades and stuff. So that's gonna be fun too. But right now I'm just working on a Sabretooth Sabretooth Yellow Ranger and Sabretooth from X-Men. So yeah, that's it. That's what I'm working on right now.
So the Yellow Ranger is going to have the tights with the female form. So she's going to have like a sexy female body underneath the tights, but she's going to have the helmet on, obviously. And then so the Sabretooth character, like you're talking about like the original OG Sabretooth, like with the brown leather jacket. And then he's got like the shirt underneath and then like the jeans, or like how?
No, the from the X-Men animated series where he has the fur around the little tight.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
But I could,
and then
for the fourth variation, I could have them in like regular street clothes. So
this is gonna be a fandom mashup illustration, or is it gonna be a painting?
Fandom mashup illustration. Because
so it's gonna be
it'll be easier to change the different variations of it. So it'll be the same pose, and then I could just redraw what other aspects of it.
What medium is it going to be done with?
I'm gonna sketch it out on paper first, and then keep continuing sketching out to see if I could get it perfectly or perfect it. Then I'm gonna use it on Illustrator. I either scan it, or when I get the iPad, I'm gonna draw it directly on there.
It'll be a digital painting then.
Yes. But right now it's just
Okay.
sketch, and it'll evolve to a digital paint because I want to play with the colors in the background.
I got you. I got you. That's gonna be dope, bro. I can't wait to see that one. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. The
Will
Yellow
be
Ranger.
like this. So I got to make sure I get the perspective right, because if I draw it like this, it's gonna be
So
too much.
Sabretooth is just gonna have his claws, but then what weapon is the Yellow Ranger gonna be having?
It looks like a sai. So
Oh, okay.
now the Power Rangers weapon, they're like kind of kitty and clunky or whatever. So it's gonna have it like that or whatever, like
Almost like a little dagger
with
side
a
type
ranger
thing.
run and stuff. So it's gonna look very cool.
Nice. That's gonna be dope. Heck yeah. So that's pretty cool. So for me, what artworks do I plan on starting soon? Definitely keep an eye out for my future upcoming artworks. I'm working on one right now. I'll give people a little preview real quick. This is a Street Sharks painting that I've been doing here. Let's see if you can get that in the frame there. So that's a Jawsome painting. That's Streaks from Street Sharks. If anyone knows, a popular 90s kids cartoon show where it's like an anthropomorphized character, half human, half animal, where it's like half shark, half like ripped bodybuilder guy. And Streaks is one of the main characters who like wears the rollerblades and goes rolling around and like slashing people up with his claws and stuff and like biting people with his teeth and fighting bad guys and stuff. And so that's one that I'm working on. It's a little preview. It's not done yet. That is a painting, acrylic paints on paper. And basically what I did was just like sketch it out with pencil first. And now I'm using like acrylic paints to like bring it to life with the color and stuff. And so one of my main ideas for a lot of my artworks in the future is anthropomorphized characters is like a really popular genre of artwork, because it's not like a specific fandom universe. Like it's very like you can basically just make your unique characters. It's like doing animal art. Like anyone can do a lion or anyone can do a giraffe, and it's not like copyrighted or owned by this corporation or like whatever. It's just like your own style of that type of thing. And so like anthropomorphic or anthropomorphized characters are basically just like a mix of like human and animal characteristics. So it's like a half human, half animal type of hybrid. And you'll see like a lot of cartoons will make these characters. Trying to think of some examples of this. Like I just showed you, like Street Sharks is one of them. And then also there's like Gargoyles is kind of like a anthropomorphized type character. That's another 90s cartoon. And there's other ones as well. I can't really think of them off the top of my head, but there's so many. If I had some time, I could make a list literally of like so many different types of like anthropomorphized characters. And a lot of artists will do these anthropomorphized characters, and because it's like really like kind of like a popular kind of trend right now within the artistic community. And I've seen, and this is one of my ideas too, is to do basically like large wood cutout standing artworks that are like say 5 or 6 feet tall, and it's like a piece of plywood that's like say 3/4 inch thick, and it'll be like a zebra, like that's one of my favorite artists I follow on Instagram, Ground Shark. If you guys look up Ground Shark, he does really cool anthropomorphized characters where they're like wearing jujitsu gis with black belts, and it'll be like a bulldog head, but it'll be like a guy like in a jujitsu, like his hands are human, but they might be like brown or gray or whatever. And then like, so it's like a human body with like human hands and arms, but then it's like a Doberman Pinscher's head, or it's like a German Shepherd head. So it's like an anthropomorphized character. And so I have an idea to do like, where it's going to be like a zebra head, or it's going to be like a hippopotamus head, but it's going to be like a human body. And oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Ground Shark.
Cool.
Yep. So he does cool. Yeah, see, that's another one from what was it? Suicide Squad. What was the name of the shark character?
King Shark.
King Shark. That's an anthropomorphized character right there. So there's another example of like a pop culture anthropomorphized character. They're very popular. There's all kinds of like these. And so that's my idea, is to do a series of paintings where it's like anthropomorphized characters. And so I had this idea to do where it's going to be like large wood cutouts, like it stands 6 feet tall and it's a wood cutout, and it'll be like a zebra head with like a human body, but it'll be like in military tactical gear, and it'll be holding like an AR-15, or it'll be like a hippopotamus head, and it'll be like a human body with like tactical gear, but he'll have like the saw like heavy machine gun, and it'll be like the backpack full of like the bullets that like it's like a belt fed huge like machine gun type of thing. And so they're gonna be like infantrymen type of stuff. So that's one of my ideas. And then I have this other idea for a line of paintings where it's going to be a mix up of different fandom universes, where it'll be Pokemon, because I'm a big Pokemon fan. I love doing Pokemon paintings. And it's basically going to be where it'll be like Pokemon in the background, and then the trainer of the Pokemon will be in the forefront holding the Pokeball. And so it'll be like E Honda from the Street Fighter universe. He's like the big sumo character. He's going to be holding the Pokeball, and then in the background it's going to be like the big round heavy type of Pokemon like Golem, Snorlax, and Blastoise are going to be like hit. So he's like the sumo, you know what I'm saying, like Pokemon team. And then I have an idea. It's going to be Voldemort is going to be the Pokemon trainer. He's going to be holding the Pokeball, and then behind him he's going to have Arbok, and then Gyarados. So he's like the serpent Pokemon master. And then he might even have Nagini, his snake, like at his feet or something like that. And then I have this idea where it's going to be Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, the elf queen, and she's going to be holding the Pokeball. And then behind her are going to be the 3 legendary birds. So she's like the master of the 3 legendary birds. And so that's kind of like a cool idea. Oh, and then it's going to be Dragon Man is going to be the Pokemon master, and he's going to have like sharp teeth and then like red eyes with like slit pupils, and he's going to have like sharp fingernails, and he's going to be like the Dragon Master. He's going to be holding the Pokeball, and then behind him it's going to be Aerodactyl, Charizard, and Dragonite. And so he's going to be the Dragon Master. So I've got those kind of cool ideas. And then I have this really cool idea. Ooh, I feel like I shouldn't even share this one because someone might steal it, but they're not going to, because it's such a complex, involved type of painting. To do it right, it would take so many hours and actual like super skillful type of execution. So I'm just going to share the idea anyways. If you steal it, like, and it's really good, I mean, I guess you deserve for the idea to come to fruition or whatever. But basically my idea for this other painting is going to be, so I talked about this in episode 1, I think. I can't remember exactly, but basically like the most popular 2 sizes of wall arts are 2x3 and 3x4, 2x3 feet and 3x4 feet. And so like because like 3x4 feet is like basically like the largest type of canvas that someone can like transport by themselves and hang up by themselves without needing like an extra person, and without it being like too large to like move around in like a van or a truck or something like that, basically. And so 3x4 is really like a sweet spot type of size. And so I'm going to do this 3x4 canvas, right? Where it's going to be, because I used to work at a cigar lounge and I used to be big into smoking cigars. I kind of like quit. I don't really smoke them anymore, but I will sometimes, I guess. I just haven't in a long time. But I used to work at the cigar lounge selling cigars, and I would collect the band, like the little wrapper, the like shiny, like little band that goes around the cigar. And it's basically like the little like cool colorful like paper that goes around the cigar to like, you know, differentiate it between the other cigars. And they're shiny, they're cool, they got cool designs on them. It's got the name of the cigar. Like yeah, there you go, just like that, just like that.
It was just a regular one,
right? So that's kind of just like a regular cigar label, but I've got a bunch of like real fancy shiny like gold and silver ones for like super expensive cigars, like freaking $23 cigar or like whatever, you know, $19 cigar. Like I collected all those little band wrappers, right? And I got them all saved away. And I have this idea where I'm going to take a 3x4 canvas, right? And I'm going to take all those super elaborate, shiny, intricate cigar labels and I'm going to paste them onto the canvas, right? It's going to create this really cool cigar label, shiny background. And then over that, once I paste all of them on there, it's going to create like a cigar label mosaic. I'm going to paint a character of Mickey Mouse. And it's going to be Mickey Mouse wearing a gangster pinstripe gray suit. And he's going to be holding a Tommy gun in one hand upwards like this. And then he's going to have a cigar in the other hand. And there's going to be smoke coming out of the cigar. And he's going to be wearing like an Italian gangster style hat. And then he's going to be basically like in like a cool pose with like a smile, like holding the Tommy gun and the cigar with his like cool Italian gangster hat. And then I was thinking about doing so he's gonna be like the centerpiece, and I think like up in the corner, I'm gonna do like the little blue birds in the Bambi movie, little blue birds that like flew. I'm gonna do like a couple of those up in the corner. And then I'm gonna paint those characters over the cigar labels. Then I'm going to do a clear coat resin over top all of that, which is going to make the whole thing pop.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of one of my ideas also for a future artwork. And then I have an idea for this painting where it's going to be Guile from Street Fighter. And he's going to, because, he's like an army character from the Street Fighter franchise. I love Street Fighter, by the way. I'm a big anime fan. And he's going to be holding like a machine gun, probably like an AR-15 or M16 or something like that. And then, so it's going to be a painting of him on a canvas or like a large piece of paper or like a large wood panel or something like that. He's going to be holding the machine gun. He's going to have like some kind of like face, like some kind of like look on his face. I'm not sure exactly what yet. And then over top of him in bright capital bold red letters, it's going to say full auto. And then so yeah, that's another one of my ideas, man. It's so awesome.
You got the tattoo. You got the flag tattoo.
I don't know about that. But so basically, those are some of my plans for my artworks that I plan to do in the future. If you're watching this, if you steal my ideas, please don't. But I mean, if you actually, because those ideas that I have are kind of like intricate, hard ideas to like execute properly. So if you actually like do it and it looks really good, I mean, I guess props to you, but whatever. Don't steal my ideas though. Anyways, next question here on the Art Culture Podcast, episode 2 on this June 14th, 2022 edition, where we discuss, analyze, and examine how life imitates art. Question number 2, Carlos, what do you love about the art form of movies?
Oh man, where do I start? First is the plot, the screenwriting. So you create this story, and there's so many, like most of the good stories are from true stories or from books, and then they have to find a way to translate that into theater. So you have the screenwriter, then you have the director. Usually they both one and the same or whatever, which is the easy part. You create the idea, you create the story, and you have this idea. So that's like perfect. But then you have to translate that to the actor. Can the actor live that character? So it's the dynamic of the screenwriter, director, and the actor. Can they bring that to life? And one of the greatest works of art was The Dark Knight, because Heath Ledger gets a lot of credit, but they forget to give Christopher Nolan credit for creating that space and giving him time to use his creativity. Because a lot of directors, they were like, you're going to go right by the script, you're going to do this and that. But to give him artistic freedom or whatever, you got to give Christopher Nolan for that or whatever. And then they created a more realistic version of a comical character. And think about how Batman, the TV show back in I think it was the 80s or 70s, where it's like, it was like
Batman.
kids, and then you have the Michael Keaton, the what's his name? He gonna kill me for not knowing his name. Tim Burton. Tim Burton and Michael Keaton or whatever, more dark version of Batman. Then you have the I forgot the director name for that one, the Batman Forever, with the Val Kilmer or whatever. That was back to more towards the kids and stuff. A lot of people don't like that movie, but it was catered toward the kids. And then the Batman and Robin or whatever, those was doing that to sell toys. And then you have all
Mhm.
this, and then you got the Dark Knight, and you got Batman Begins to set the tone. They made something that's not too realistic, and they made it in the real world. Like, how would Batman look if he was in the world today? And they had a tactical aspect. And um, I like the way movies pick with your brain, because you look at the movie and see these fictional characters, and then you go back to real life and be like, man, that's like that really imitates real life or whatever. Even though it's a made up movie or whatever, it's a lot of real elements into it. So that's what I like most about movies. They take something that's, especially with not nonfiction, fictional movies, they take something from fantasy or from a dream, and then they put it into a motion picture, and then they show it to the world, and then you watch it, you consume it, and then you look around like, man, this is real. Like the Matrix movies and stuff like that. I'm like, all this is real to an aspect. Like, of course, you have Fast and Furious movies where you got the car driving everywhere, flipping around in space or whatever. But we know, like in like most movies, like the good guy gets shot or whatever, he just brush it off. You're like, or like someone get hit by a cannon and they get up or whatever. Is those aspects where you be like, we know this fake, but it's the the dialogue and the characters and stuff. Even with love stories and stuff, like a lot of people watch like rom-coms and romantic movies and be like, this doesn't happen in real life. We know that, but it's still fun to watch. And there's some stuff that do happen or whatever, some miracles that do happen in real life. But back to you. How do you feel about, what was the question? How you feel about art and
What
film?
do you love about the art form of movies? So I am a big believer that movies are the ultimate art form, like cinema is the ultimate art form, because basically it's a combination of all different types of art forms into one. Like if you think of like a painting's a type of art form, music's a type of art form, um, any of like sculpture is a type of art form. All of those can be in a movie. So it's literally a combination of all the different types of art form. And art, if you think about art, is basically just expression, um, turning emotion into expression, which is a type of communication. And so basically, like back in the day, back in primitive times or medieval times, or even before, like even before societies, even before ancient Egypt or ancient Rome or ancient China or ancient Mesopotamia or ancient, Incas or Aztecs or any of these ancient societies, back when we were just hunters gatherers, whoever was the best storyteller in the tribe or in the village, they were kind of the most powerful person. Everyone looked up to them, or whoever could like take a big stick and draw like an image in the sand. Whoever was the best at that, they were kind of revered as like the powerful person. Because all right, welcome back from the break. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about what do you love about the art form of movies, and I was describing about how back in the day in primitive times, how whoever was the best storyteller was the most powerful in the tribe or in the village, because they were conveying an idea for other people to understand. So they were a good communicator, which made them powerful, because knowledge is power. And so if you could tell a story in a very captivating way, or if you could draw in the sand, or if you could paint on the side of the caves in a very good way, you were revered by the people because you were a great communicator. And so basically that is what movies are, is a form of communication. And so back in the day, the storytellers, would tell a grand tale of the battles that they went through and the adventures they went on and the distant lands that they visited. And they were just telling you a story essentially. Well, that's what a movie's doing, is telling you a story. It's painting a picture that you can visualize in your mind. It's doing more than painting a picture. It's giving you like a realistic view of like what they actually want to portray, the idea that they want you to understand. And like I was saying, it's basically just like a combination of all the different types of art forms into one. And so movies are really truly an amazing, grand form of artworks. I think the ultimate form of artwork is cinema, movies. So for those reasons, I believe movies are basically the best type of art. And some of the movies like today just keep getting more and more realistic and more better and just more amazing because the technology that they have and the special effects and the CGI, it's really making the movies like super realistic to a point where it feels like you're almost inside the movie, like you're just immersed in the movie. And now it's not just, see, it was like you'd go and see the movie on the big screen, and that was like really cool. Well, first, it was just black and white, no audio.
Mm-hmm.
Then silent movies, the silent film era. And those were sometimes accompanied by like um someone who played on the orchestra on an organ or a piano in a certain key moments. He would like make sound effects with the keys on the piano, and so that was like your sound for the. Or sometimes I read about this also online, where in the silent film era, I think was like the early 1900s to like the mid to late 1920s, don't quote me on that, I might be a little off there, but it's like somewhere around there, was the silent film era. Towards the end of the silent film era, they would actually have like full orchestras, where it would be like the trumpet section, the clarinet section, the trombone section. And so like there would be music along with the silent film, and it would be like certain key types of music they would play. Like, if it was like a certain type of action scene, they'd play like action music, or if it was like a certain type of romance scene, they'd play like a more like romance type of music or something. So that was like early like black and white silent film era. Then they started adding audio onto the movies after the silent film era. And so there was like actual like audio, there was dialogue, they were talking in the movies, there's speakers in the theaters and stuff. And so that was a long period of time. That was the end of the silent film era, all the way up until probably whenever IMAX came around, which was probably like the early 2000s. There started being like IMAX movies. That was like the next generation of the movie going experience. It really kind of evolved at that point, I think, to where it wasn't just going to the cinema, to the theater and seeing the big screen with the good sound system. It was like a super enlarged screen and an upgraded sound system. So that was like an enhanced experience with the IMAX. Now they've got these VR headsets, which I think is kind of the next evolution in like cinema. And I heard this from different conspiracy theorists and different people, different videos that I saw. I don't know if it's true. This is kind of hearsay, but apparently James Cameron, who is the director of Avatar, was developing a whole new form of movie going experience, which was going to be a hologram movie, where it's basically like you go and you sit in like theater seating, but it's like you're on the holodeck of Star Trek, on like the Star Trek Enterprise, where it's like the movie. Oh, I forgot about 3D movies. That was around like the 80s, I guess. That was another evolution. Then the IMAX 3D. And so apparently there was going to be like a form of like hologram movie, where it was going to be, you don't even need glasses, or you don't even need, nothing on your eyes. Like they use technology to create, just like in Star Wars, where R2D2 like, projected the hologram of like Princess Leia, Obi-Wan, you are our only hope, or whatever, like real type of holograms. And it was going to look completely realistic, like not even like holograms that are like blue tinted and kind of like fuzzy. Like it was going to be like real life. Like you couldn't differentiate between like the hologram and someone who's not a hologram. Like it was going to be that realistic. And apparently they have this type of hologram technology, but for whatever reasons, I'm not sure why, it hasn't been started up yet. And maybe it'll happen in the future. I don't know. But I think that'll be the next level of movie going experience, the next level of cinema. And so that's really the next level. That's like the ultimate art form, is making a full feature length, 2 hour plus feature film, feature motion picture with holograms. I mean, imagine that. That's just mind blowing. So that's what I love about the art form of movies. Moving on, last and final topic, last and final question that we're going to discuss here on episode 2 of the Art Culture Podcast, featuring your host, me, Austin Perry, and my good friend Carlos Campbell, my co-host. Why are some simple abstract artworks so valuable? Carlos, what do you think?
So I came up with that question when we talked before we recorded. It's like a joke in the, I don't even think it's a joke in the art community. I think it's just a joke in just humanity. You'll have a artist that nobody knows about, and then they go to the canvas and then swipe, and then swipe up, and then they sell it, and then it's worth like $800,000 or like millions of dollars. And I want to do a deep dive on this topic because it always had me mind blown when I was younger. I'm like, how are these little scribble paintings and stuff where they put no thought into it? Why does it cost so much? So I think a lot has to do with the status of the person or the story of the person. But I think of all these artists in the Renaissance era and the past, those paintings are highly detailed. I can't think of like a simple artwork from that era as like all these beautiful paintings like the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. So I can't think of an artist where they just do like 3 or 4 strokes and then is there. So it's weird because I thought it was because their name and their status, but it's something more. I don't know what it is. Even the one where they duct tape the banana on the in the random area, the art gallery or whatever. At first I understood the artwork was making fun of that or whatever in the aspect or whatever. You're like, oh, I just put duct tape on a duct tape banana on the wall. Wow, that's art. So I understood that aspect of the art, and then I forgot what changed my mind on it, but I have no idea. I forgot what else happened with it, but it's like I don't even think it's a form of trolling because I don't understand what the hype is about something simple. Because let's say if I have a story behind it, let's say I had a bad day at work and then I just look at the canvas or whatever, come home, and then I use like the color red and just make it all violent. And then I'll use a contrast color blue and then just put like rain going down or where. So you see the splat and then you see the soft rain coming down or whatever. It will have some type of meaning to me. But if nobody knows the story, they'd be like, okay, I see blue and red on the thing. Because I'm not talking about color theory, because that'll have a meaning with that or whatever. They're like, okay, I see the soft of the blue and then the contrast of the chaos of the red, the warm color. But it's a lot of these abstract paintings that have no story behind it, that have no color theory behind it, and then they be selling out. So I don't know if it's the status, the name, the story behind it. I don't know what moves me. I think it's I have no idea, because a lot of these great artists of the past, they lived and died poor, and then these people, I don't know who these people are. I guess I got to do more research on these simple abstract paintings. I'm like, I know anything that you put your mind to and create is art, but it has to be like a has to be a barrier to where like, oh, you just bull crapping. Because if I see like a kindergartner, like a toddler make something like that, it's extremely creative because they're in their most innocent form. Not even innocent, that's stupid to say that. They're in a very open-minded form to where they haven't experienced a lot of things or learned a lot of things yet. They're still in their growing phase. So when they draw like a picture of a family, it looks all stick figures and stuff. That's a real great art form because they're in their beginning stages. But
Their
I don't know.
potential.
Because there are some art forms where they'll just splat paint on the canvas and then just walk around and put feet. They'll use their feet prints and stuff like that. But that isn't the type of art I'm talking about. I'm just talking about people just put let's say they have a lamp and then they throw a newspaper on it and then they just paint it with yellow and green and then they just throw it on the ground and it's cracked. It's like that is art. I don't think that's art, but what do you think? I don't know. It's weird.
So I think that this is kind of like a modern phenomena that's happened within the last like 50 to 70 years, like post World War II, where it's modern abstract art. But in my opinion, it's very ugly. It's very simplistic. It's very common. There's nothing detail oriented about that. It's not an intricate artwork. So like I know what you're saying, how there's like people are basically just doing like finger paintings or like something very simple, and then it sells for like $500,000 or something like this. I think back in the day, like even if going back like in the 1800s or the 1700s or whenever, people would have laughed at this and no one would have thought it was artwork that people would pay serious money for. People would think it would be like, a mentally handicapped person or like a child had created it or something like that. Like I saw this one where this guy had this like fire extinguisher looking type of container with a hose coming out of it, and it was filled with like orange paint, and it sprayed orange paint like in a stream basically, and he just like did some swirls on this big like canvas thing, like whoosh, whoosh, like circles basically, like splattered spraying orange paint out of this like fire extinguisher thing, and then it sold for like literally millions of dollars. Like, okay, sorry about that, folks. A little technical difficulties, so we had to just do a little edit there. But I'm just going to keep going, keep flowing with it here on the Art Culture Podcast. So I was talking about how there was this guy who had like a fire extinguisher, like cylindrical canister, basically filled with pressurized paint, and it had like a hose nozzle coming out of it, and there was like orange paint, and he had this large canvas like that covered a whole wall, and he basically just took the nozzle and just like sprayed a stream of orange paint in like circular circles, like spirals, onto the canvas. And then it sold for literally like millions of dollars. And so it's crazy how these modern artworks are selling for so much money when it's just a simple modern abstract artwork. And some people who are more like darker minded, conspiracy minded people might think that this is kind of like an attack on humanity, where they're basically doing this on purpose, like exposing us to like very simplistic, low level types of artwork, to bring our vibrational frequencies down to a lower level and to like basically dumb us down and make us more stupid, and basically like get us to, they're basically inverting everything. It's all about inversion and making us think like ugly things are beautiful. And so that's kind of, I think, what some people might say is going on. Like there's like a dark agenda afoot. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. But they say the same thing with like the modern architecture, how the modern architecture is like ugly compared to like back in the day. Like if they built like a castle or like a grand palace, it was like extremely ornate and palatial, and like all kinds of statues everywhere and all kinds of different like designs. And now they'll build like a huge skyscraper and it's just like gray and bland and boring and drab and like, just very Orwellian with its like aesthetic. Basically it's kind of the same concept. And so that's kind of why some people might think that like they're purposely popularizing and promoting these, kind of abstract, modern, ugly artworks to try and change the mind and the perception of the world's public and the masses, to shift the psyche. It's basically like a psyop. It's like a psychological operation that they're implementing on the people. It's kind of like part of their MK Ultra mind control, trauma-based mind control experiment that they're implementing on a wide scale. So that may or may not be going on. I'm not sure. But some people theorize about that. I think it's interesting to point that out. And then also, I would say, Carlos, you with me?
Reason again. Damn, what the fuck?
All right, we're back. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. Zoom keeps cutting our feed. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think it's me or Carlos's phone or our internet. I think it's the Zoom app is kind of malfunctioning. So we had to do a little edit there again, but we're back. Don't worry. See, they don't like us talking about the truth or whatever. But no, who knows? But anyways, no, I was just talking about how like this modern abstract art is kind of like potentially some people might think there's like a dark agenda afoot, and it's kind of like a psychological operation that they're implementing on the masses to get us to like to invert everything, to make people think that ugly things are beautiful, and basically to lower our vibrational frequencies and to dumb us down and to like implement like an MK Ultra mind control experiment on everybody. It's basically like trauma-based mind control. It's how they like control everybody by controlling the psyche and the psychological thoughts of everybody by like controlling what art we're exposed to and stuff. And so maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm just saying like some people theorize about that, and I think it's interesting to like point it out. So, and then you were talking about, Carlos, how there was like that art show where they like taped the banana to the wall or whatever it was, and then like it was like, oh, this is like some amazing like artwork. But basically, like there was another one I saw where there was some guy who was making fun of an art exhibit where there was all this like super terrible modern artwork. They literally had like a bag of trash was like one of the art pieces like that was on display, and there's like ropes around it, and like everyone's like taking pictures of it and like, oh my god, this artist is so amazing. And so what he did was he took his glasses off and put them on the floor and then started like taking pictures of it, and then everyone thought it was like another part of the exhibit. Literally, like his glasses were just on the floor, and like so everyone started taking pictures of it, and like everyone thought it was like another exhibit like in the art show, just for him to like prove a point of like, this is ridiculous, like it's nothing special. Like,
oh, real quick, I remember my thought about the banana with the tape on it. When he first did it, I'm like, that's bull crap or whatever. But when people start reacting to it, I understood the motive behind it. So it was artwork. When he got a reaction out of it, he was like, boom, I just explained my art, saying it's the stupid, random, simple stuff. And then people are moved by it or like intrigued by it or whatever. But yeah, back to you.
and then I can't remember whether or not I talked about this already, because the feed kept going in and out, but I was talking about how like even with architecture, um, basically like there's a lot of like ugly architecture nowadays compared to like what it used to be in the past, like grand like castles and palaces like were super elaborate and like had cool designs on them and stuff like that. And now there's just like these very boring like gray structures that are like not any kind of like special design or shape or anything. It's just like very drab, very boring, very Orwellian. And so that's another aspect of like kind of how this modern art is kind of like shifting the psyche and the brain and the thinking of the public, of the world, of the masses. And so that's kind of a way of how they manipulate us, is like through artwork. And like and then another thing I wanted to point out too is how you're saying like, oh, just a simple like finger painting or whatever, like swipe up with a paintbrush, swipe left with the paintbrush, swipe diagonal with a paintbrush, and then they sell it for like $4 million. Well, that's a very easy way for criminals to launder money. And so basically, like, people who are involved with human trafficking or whatever kind of like narcotics or whatever. They want to do a legit payment to somebody. Oh, let me just create this super easy
Oh,
5-minute painting. Oh, that'll be $5 million. Here you go. I'm gonna sell this artwork to you, right? And so that's kind of one way that they're using these modern art masterpieces to launder money with criminal organizations and enterprises. And so that's kind of interesting. With the abstract artworks, you know, they're like super valuable. I think that basically a lot of these like abstract artworks are, in my opinion,
frozen again. And frozen again. I don't know what's going on tonight, man. It's
sorry guys, we had to do another edit there.
like
Um,
right now.
so we're back. Basically, you know, I started talking about how they're money laundering with the paintings, you know, simple abstract finger paintings selling for $5 million. That's a good way for like criminals to launder their illegal money and stuff, and human traffickers and stuff like that. And so who knows? I don't know. They cut our stream off, but no, it's probably just some kind of technical difficulties. I don't think like they're like watching our show and stopping us or whatever. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and just wrap up this episode here, episode 2 of the Art Culture Podcast, because we are having technical difficulties. We have to keep doing edits. So Carlos, I appreciate you editing this episode. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our take on why we think simple abstract artworks are so valuable. Just some theories, just some ideas. It doesn't necessarily mean we're right about what we're talking about. Like I said, do your own research, fact check everything I'm saying. Don't take my word for it. A lot of this is just my opinions. I don't claim to be an expert on any of this. Just kind of like discussing ideas here. So there it is, the Art Culture Podcast, episode 2. On the Art Culture Podcast is where we discuss, analyze, and examine how life imitates art. Me and Carlos Campbell, your 2 hosts for the Art Culture Podcast. We are both artists. We are both visual artists. We do illustrations, we do paintings, we do digital paintings, we do digital design and graphic design. Check out our artwork for sure. That's why we like to do this podcast, because we like to talk about artwork, because we're both artists ourselves. We like to geek out about art. And it's a topic that we're very passionate about, and we can talk about for hours and hours. So
Yeah.
we figure we might as well do a podcast about it. So check out my Instagram, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see some of my artwork. My Instagram handle is Austin Perry Art. That's AustinParryArt. Austin Perry Art on Instagram. That's where you can find all of my best artworks uploaded to my main portfolio is on my Instagram page. Also, check out my website, which is austinparry.org, AustinParry.org. That's where you can find artworks for sale that I have on my website. I do a lot of fan art. I do a lot of pop culture characters, paintings, and illustrations. I have original artworks, framed original artworks. I have prints you can buy on my websites. Check it out. Support a local artist. I'm here in the Tampa area. Me and Carlos live here in the Tampa Bay area. So check it out, austinparry.org. And Carlos, how can people connect and find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mechfrza, MECHFRZA. And my link is in the bio. Right now, I just have t-shirt website, owlspirits.com. And hopefully I have some artwork to show y'all soon. If y'all want to be on the show, just email or message, DM any of us. We could put you on the show. We have no money. I mean, it costs no money, or it has won't take any time or anything. We could do like a 30-minute episode, or you could just hop in for 5 minutes and just have a discussion. But it was a fun episode. It's a lot of topics, and I can't wait for the 3rd episode.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carlos Campbell. I am Austin Perry. We are the hosts of the Art Culture Podcast. This is the end of episode 2. Keep an eye out for episode 3. We will be coming at you with more content soon. And like Carlos said, anyone who wants to be on the show, reach out to us through social media that we just provided with on the show. You can contact us and we get you on the show. and we can talk about artwork. So Austin Perry signing out. Everyone, love and peace, and goodbye.